have today we have the one and only Corey Barfus of One Home coming to share with us kind of what he does. He's got a really unique product that we can offer to our clients. We can give as a gift for our clients. So he's going to explain a little bit more about what that looks like. He's been in the industry for a long time, so he's definitely a friend of ours, and I'm excited personally to hear kind of some more of the details on it. So
Absolutely, thank you. Well, how I will, you want to put that up here and I just tap or make it easy for this part of it?
is that working? Is that muted or? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll try it.
Okay,
However it
deal.
works.
Is the mic working? Yeah.
Is it working? Hello?
Oh,
Yeah,
there
we're
we
there. We're good. Okay, I just got to get up a little closer. Hi, my name's Corey Barfus. I'm with One Home Solution. I've been around in and out of this office and the other one before since about 2014. So a lot of you I know and those I don't, you're unfortunately going to probably see me more. So anyways, I got to joke a little bit. So I'm excited about One Home Solution. This is something that nobody else is doing. It's something, it's not a home warranty. It's not pest control. It's not solar. It's not everything that all of us are getting hounded with on day-to-day stuff. And so being in real estate, just a little information about me. I was a real estate agent for both residential and commercial from back in '05. Me and my wife owned a brokerage back in Mississippi, Louisiana. So I've seen the market go crazy from one end to the other and been immersed in the real estate market for the last almost 20 years. So I get it. But the one thing that I almost guarantee every one of us have a to-do list at home, right? You got something at home that you just wish would get done. And either you don't have the time to do it or it's just too small to get the big wrap van to come out for the small service charge, or just outside of your skill set. Or let's face it, when you finally do get a day off, that's the last thing you want to deal with. I know Nick wants to take the Jeep out, and the last thing he wants to do is deal with the sprinkler system that broke over the winter, right? So what happened is we connected basically One Home Solution. So we're talking home maintenance and repair. You're thinking, what's home maintenance and repair? What are we going to do about that? So typically in real estate, we've gathered enough people that we can refer people out to, right? But the problem is with that is when you call them, what happens? What happens, Nick, when you call somebody? Do they answer the call? How many's ever had that when you call even just to get a quote or an idea or something? Nobody answers their phone. You're like, how do they even stay in business? Evidently, they're doing so much business, they're not able to answer the calls. So they don't answer the call, or do they call you back? Do they show up on time or your schedule? What happens when you finally do get a hold of them? We have somebody who'll be out next Friday between 10 and 5. Who likes to play the waiting game and take your whole day, or find somebody to house sit for you to wait for that person to show up? Nobody. Okay. So how do we do that to get rid of that? Because that process is really frustrating, right? Let me introduce you to One Home Solution. That's right, me. So what do we separate? We are a single source, one app enabled subscription service designed to reduce the stress of home maintenance and repair. Let's face it, it's one of the most expensive things we purchase. You think we would be able to service it. If any of you have ever bought a very fancy car, most of you are pretty adamant about taking the service and care of that, correct? We park it in the far part of the parking lot, make sure it got air in it, because when that little tire sensor goes off, we make sure it goes in for its servicing. But what do we do for our home? Are you servicing your house other than mowing the lawn? A lot of times not. Correct. We're reactive instead of proactive on our homes, and that's unfortunate. So we make home maintenance easy and affordable by providing the dependable and professional care for the home. And yeah, what is that? Okay, the difference of what we do, we save money on routine maintenance. So we have all of our techs are in-house. Now let me ask you, what does it cost you just to get an electrician out for a GFI or hang a ceiling fan or even a handyman? Probably about $150 just to get them to the house, regardless of what you have to have done, correct? So if I could say that and say it's now $70 an hour, prorated for $70. So that GFI outlet, it's only half an hour plus whatever that outlet cost, and I only charge you $35, no service call. Would that be worthwhile? Okay. Task list management. So how would you like to be able to just give your whole list to somebody and say, here, take care of it? And versus I got to call a plumber because one of the valves underneath the sink gone out and the wax ring's out. Then that GFI outlet's out. So now I got to call an electrician. Now I got to call a landscaper because like all the trees have now need to be trimmed for the springtime and sprayed. And I got one of the sprinklers is broken, frozen over. So how do I get that? How nice would that be to just be able to put it all into one list and go, it can be prorated for the time that they're actually there at the house. So if my guys have to leave to go get something, the clock stops. You're only being charged for the time you're actually in the house that they're working on it. So you're saving time. Easy app schedule. You actually go on your time, and I'll show that 100% guarantee on all the work that gets done. So literally, if you'll watch on that, they're going to go in. It's how literally our app works. They go in, they hit a request a appointment, and it's not playing very well, but literally go in, pick a day and time. Not going to show it on here, so I'm sorry it's not playing, but literally can go in and request a service, pick a day, pick a time, and the hour, and that's when they show up. They literally show up at that time. Very good at talking with you and keeping communications if they got a snowstorm or some reason. Single source. We really want to be your single source for everything you need done in the house, inside and out. These are just some of our common top requested, reoccurring, seasonal service, simple home needs. If you take a look at that, and I don't want to take all your time, but here's where we really shine. Okay, being a part of the member, you actually get these seasonal maintenance plans. I got something blocked off there, but that one right there, we change all your HVAC filters, all your condensation lines, then the dust bunnies that build up. We replace all the salt or fill your water softener salt. Your accessible, your cold air return vents that all get dirty from in there, we go in and clean that out for you as well. Washing machine filters. How many know your washing machine? A lot of them have a filter on it. Front end loaders, especially down in the left-hand corner. We go in and clean all of that out. And this is all part of being the membership. There's no extra charge for this, and we supply all the material. Your smoke detector batteries. How many of you got smoke detectors that are sitting in the box that aren't functional because they died on you at 2 o'clock in the morning? Lubricate your garage door. Who lubricates the garage door? Some of us do, but not a lot. Okay, and that's just in the spring, what we're doing now. The exhaust grill, that's the vent above your toilet by the shower. That all gets fuzzy and clogged up. We clean that out. One of the big ones that I added was flush your water heater of all the sediment that sits in the bottom. That's huge. And then the other one that I really like is clean your dryer vent, not the lint trap where your extra sock disappeared to, but the one that actually goes outside. Okay, those are the 4 separate things. That's all part of the operation. And if you were to hire it out, you'd be anywhere from $800 to $1,500, depending on who you hired. 5-star certified. So if you go and look at and review us, you'll find that most everybody, I think we're 4.9, whatever you can be, almost 5. Who benefits from this? Let me put a little thought process in there. If you have a buyer or a seller, how many people have stuff that needs to be done before they sell the house? Okay. When you move into a house, how much stuff do you have to do to make the house personable? A lot. You want to repaint a room. All of the bedroom ceiling fans stink. I want to update them. So I went and bought down to Home Depot. They had a sale. Now who do I get to hang them? My brother will do it. When? When he's not golfing, working, doing the stuff at his house. How would it be nice to go? I had to get it Friday now. Okay. That's who it is. Or the single parent, or the business professional, or the older people that have no business carrying those 40-pound bags, rocks out down in the basement, or being on a step stool or a ladder. So, yes, how much is the subscription plan? $49 a month. We do not have a year-long contract. If you do it for the year, we take $100 off. It's $500. But for realtors, all for the realtors, whether you're in the real estate industry, we'll do it for $400 for the year. So everyone you refer, there's a place for reference code. Here's your chance to shine to your clients. Just have them put your name in the promo code, and they get $100 off, $400. So now you're adding value as your sales or buyer's agent to your clients and giving them something that they will use all year long versus something else. They may sit in a drawer, or you hope you don't have it. Now, I'm not talking down on home warranty because they're fabulous. I have a lot of people that buy both, okay? But they're two separately entities. They're not to be confused as the same thing. Here's my deal for you guys at South Valley. Here's what we're talking about referring. If you'll put your name in it, you get $100 off. This is what I want to do right now. If you'll go down and download the app on Apple or Android, just download the app, sign up, whether it be for you, your parents, or someone else, and put in that reference code, KWSV. We know that's Keller Williams South Valley. I will do $250 for the year. Now, you won't have to pay today, okay? But if you will sign up today, that will lock your rate at $250. Now, what they'll do is they'll call you to onboard. The onboarding is they'll come out and spend about 30 minutes at your house or whoever's house you sign up for. They find out where the water valve shutoff is. They find out if you have a water softener. They make sure you have enough your filter side for your HVAC so that we have that on the truck. They take pictures of all your make, model, and serial numbers of your appliances. So we have that in your file. We already know what we're dealing with if you have an issue that way. And then we count how many smoke detectors are in the house. We have enough batteries, or the right kind of batteries. Some take a 9-volt, some take AA's, those kind of things. But we actually put a profile together of your house, and that's when they take the money. Okay? So if you want to sign up, this even feels like, hey, this may not be a bad idea, go ahead and sign up. You can always say no. I hope you don't. But this is the way to get locked in at $250, because I can tell you probably come April, it's going to go back to $400 for real estate agents. We've been giving it away a lot for the $250. Here's your chance to lock it in. Okay? Any questions from the guys here in the front row? Yes.
I have a few questions because I've gotten a chance to see this previously and was super impressed by it. So my question is, how could this help us with home inspections? Like I can see going on a listing appointment, we can offer this as a value to somebody. Hey, work with me. I know you have all these things that need to be done. I can offer this to you for $100 off, blah, blah, blah. How could we introduce this into like an inspection?
Well, that's a very good question. And I actually have partnered up with a couple of home inspectors because honestly, when they get the report back, that's usually the first question they're asking the home inspectors and to you. Well, we got this list. Who can we get to fix this? Right? So now you got to think, look, we can put a whole list here, or, you know, because everything's negotiable, right? Thank Dinar and all the fun stuff. Anyways, yeah, sorry, didn't mean to bring that one up. But it's negotiable. So that's something you go back to the buyers with or to the sellers and say, we need this fixed. The stuff that's not, and your buyers are going, well, how are we going to get this stuff fixed? Now I got somebody that's licensed that can give me 100% guaranteed, that can be prorated, come when I want them to do, because let's face it, not everything wants to be done or maybe can be afforded to do all at once. But now you're able to do it throughout the course of the year, knowing what you need to get done and kind of knowing what your cost is. Because within that app, you can also request a quote. So if there's something of a larger nature, like I got to rip out all the tile and redo this tub and caulking, you can take pictures and a video and submit a quote. We'll either send somebody out to look at it and give you that quote based on our pricing and that $70 an hour, or through one of our, if we have to go to a third-party contractor, if it's fairly extensive, then we're going to give you a price, which usually is going to come out probably cheaper than most people you get, unless it's your family that's going to give you the family discount, right? But typically saying we're probably going to be at or below whatever you could find in general looking. But we handle all the billing, we handle it. So you're only having to deal with one person. You're not having to make 5 phone calls, waiting for 2 of them to call you back and waiting for another 3 days for somebody to come out. You actually can schedule all that.
So I can see where it would benefit the buyer. So there's the big to-do list. So we represent a buyer. I would introduce this and be like, hey, you definitely want this for your next year. But as far as the seller is concerned, is it something where, because they're moving, so they don't want to keep the house, but can we put it on for a month and then use your services and cancel because there's no contract? Like, would this help us get rid of the handyman?
Let's put it in 2 scenarios. If they're going to move somewhere within our service contract area, they can purchase the plan, go ahead and do the first quarterly maintenance, get all the stuff that they want done. I'll just transfer it to the new house as long as they're in the service area. Or they can gift it to the buyers if they want. Third scenario, they could just sign up for a month at $49, get the service done, have access to all the One Home Tech guys and take everything done in a month, and they're moving out of state. Now, the second question is, where do we cover? Well, we actually are in Phoenix, Arizona, and we are in Orange County, California. And we cover all of Utah, Salt Lake County, Weber, Davis, Wasatch, and Summit County. So those are the things. So basically from Magna to Park City area up there, Ogden down to Payson.
Okay. Couple more questions. Sorry.
Yes.
Nick
no
has
worries.
a question too. If anybody has a question. Okay, so this is per property, right?
Correct.
So if we own multiple
it is
properties.
address based. In other words, you can't just buy one subscription and put it on 20 houses
Right.
or farm it out to 20 houses. Now I have a lot of property management people that have 5, 10. Matter of fact, I have one that's putting 38 houses, all of their rental property on this program because they see the value
That's
just
what
in the
I'm
4
thinking.
quarterly maintenance.
Yeah.
Literally one single login, they can farm out everything to every one of those houses off of one login.
Yeah. So as realtors, is the 250 only for one property?
No, I will give you till the end of the month, however many properties you want to put on.
Okay. Who else has a question?
I can't hear them. So does anybody on Zoom have a question? Anything on the chat? We do Utah County, all of Utah County. So yes, and we actually normally do if somebody puts 5 or more houses on, we usually work a deal. But right now, many houses that you got, I'll do them all for $250. And that's going toward the end of the month. So that's why I say, honestly, if you're even thinking about it, sign up today and log in. Now, if you have multiple properties, the system is not designed to take multiple properties in the sign in. So I would put one down, the main property, and then text me, call me, email me the other properties that you want added, and we'll all put it under the one logins and then bill you for those as it goes. But then that way you don't have to log in once to farm out, see everything going on for all the properties. Cool. Any other questions? I know I've burned up a big portion of the time, a lot more than 5 minutes. So.
Oh, it's okay. I think it's good. Yeah.
You good? I tried to go quick because it's something that. Okay, so if you need that's got the logo, makes it real quick to download on the app, or you can go to when you type it in, it has to be One Home Solution, not with an S on the end, just a singular One Home Solution, or else it'll pull up a bunch of. There's so many companies out there, One Home. So you have to make sure there's solution. It'll have that emblem like up in the left-hand corner, or you can go on our website at www. One Home Solution and sign up as well.
We have a couple other questions in the chat. So are you licensed and bonded?
We are.
They are. Okay. And then, yes, Cody sees a big value to this and wondering, like for our buyer packets.
So I have
So I know you've passed out a couple things here, but where could we get more of those?
Yes, I have that you can do buyer package. I also have a 1-page kind of a little bit more information for like a listing or a buyer type thing. Yeah. So if you want to email me.
I think this is a huge value piece to our SOI. Like this is something, it's springtime, it's spring cleaning. Like if we can go out there and say, we can get you this for $400 if you come talk to me.
Like my wife loves it because she's like, we have family gatherings at the house, so I don't need maid service every other week as much as I would love to have it. But you think about the holidays and some of the other things, how would it be nice to go, I got so much on my plate. If I could just somebody come over and just do the bathrooms in the kitchen, freshen up the living room, I'm good. And be able to do that on your time. Pick the day and time you want that done.
And I think you said it's $40 an hour?
$40 an hour for housekeeping, $70 an hour for handyman type techs. If it's something outside of that, think of us as like your general practitioner that does the general health of your body, but we have connection to all of the specialists, your oncologists, all of the specialty doctors. Well, we're the same with contractors. So we would negotiate if we have to go to a third party for something that into the foundation or through the walls or some of the other things that would require licensing and things for code. So especially like things along Freon or in some certain appliances and things. For example, Sub-Zero. There are only a few people that are allowed to work on Sub-Zero refrigerators so you don't void warranties. Part of the reason why we do the onboarding, so that when something comes in and says, I got this appliance, we know whether or not that's something we can work on, or if that's something we need to find somebody else that's followed within the manufacturer protocol to work on. Okay?
Love it.
Any other
Cool.
questions?
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate your time. I will
Thank
return
you.
you to your normally scheduled programming.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Corey. Appreciate it. All right. So today it is the last week of the quarter. Can you believe it? It's wild. I know. So we're the last week of the quarter, which means now is the time to make sure we've got our plans set up for Q2. So how many of us have already done that? How many of you guys have a GPS already in place? GPS, a one-page business plan? Not yet? Okay, we will. We will. All right, how about on Zoom? Who's
Ellie
got-
does. I was going to say you can raise your virtual hand too, because I am curious who has one.
Yes, I'm very
We also got to
curious.
thanks Corey on here.
Yes. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me okay when I'm talking like this? Hopefully. Okay. All right. So the GPS, it's a one-page business plan. It's really important to know exactly what you're going to be doing every single day, what exactly your goals are and your plans are so that you can follow up on it consistently. So the GPS, what?
It's
Oh,
also been sent to you guys in email. So if you want to hurry and pull that up as Nick goes over it, you have it in your email.
yep. And it is being screen shared.
And I would also recommend that you're jotting down notes. I know the few of you that I did this with, I literally just chicken scratched it to start. So whatever we're talking about today, chicken scratch it, and you could have this done by the end of our meeting.
Yep. We'll walk out of here with a 135. So, okay. So 135 is your one-page business plan. You should already have these for the year. If you don't yet, now is a perfect time to do it. So we do like to review these every 90 days. One of the cool thing, I mean, you should really be looking at it every single day, but reviewing it every 90 days to make any changes. So the whole point, well, at least my favorite thing about 135s is that we are putting our plan together, and that's going to insulate us from any other issues. So like you may, I mean, okay, maybe this is a bad example, but let's say that, yeah, maybe it's a bad example, but I'm saying, okay, in my head, I'll tell you where my head's at. My head's like, hey, how can I use this one home solution to add value to my clients, right? Maybe there's a way that I could use that to build my business to get better results through my business, right? Which I think is really great. And now is the perfect time because we're going into a new quarter. But if you're in the middle of February and you're plugging away, you already had you knew exactly what you were going to do. We had everything scheduled out for the whole quarter. And now some shiny new object comes in and it might throw you off track, right? Have you ever like got a call from someone who says, oh, they'll give you some leads or they've got some program that you're going to sign up for and it's going to get you all this business. And then all of a sudden you ditch your old plan and you just like, oh yeah, how much is it going to cost? I'm going to buy all these leads. It's going to be amazing, right? And it throws you off your plan. So the reason that we review these every 90 days is so that we can build a plan, execute on it for 90 days, and then we adjust based on what the results look like. So it's kind of to protect you from being distracted. Does that make sense? So at least that's what I use it the most for. Okay, you'll notice there's the one thing at the top. So this all comes from the One Thing book. Everyone read the One Thing? Yeah, put it on your list for sure. The One Thing. So the One Thing, which I think is technically by Jay Papasan. So the One Thing is a really cool book, and it's the one that covers multiple industries. So a lot of our books are for real estate investing, or they're within the industry. The One Thing crosses over all industries and really all people. The One Thing basically talks about how to figure out what is the one thing that by doing it would make everything else easier or unnecessary. So we're really boiling it down to the one thing that makes the biggest difference in our lives. So it really has a lot to do with the 80-20 rule. The domino effect. Yep. There's a one thing that's going to push everything else down the line. So who knows what the 80-20 rule is? 80-20 rule, Pareto principle, I think. Anyone on Zoom? Someone's got to know.
Is it 80% of what you do is 20% of what you get? Or no? Yeah, am I wrong?
That too, but they are the same in reverse. So basically 20% of your efforts. So 20% of what you actually do is going to result in 80% of your results. So it's a big deal because basically those if you do all these different things and only 20% of them are getting you the large majority of your results, what do you think you might want to do when you find that information out? You're going to do more of those 20% activities, right? Because the opposite is that 80% of your activities are only getting you 20% of your results. So they're not pulling their weight very well, right? So that's the 80-20 rule is really to help you identify. And that's true in all different areas. So 20%, I'm sure 20% of the real estate agents make 80% of the commissions. I'm 100% certain of that. You know, same with pretty much anything. Throw out any example, it's going to fit. So anyways, the GPS is really built to help you
Can I jump in?
Please.
I would also say that 80% typically are important things, and they are also, like, in my mind, they can be big distractions. So the 20%, like the lead generation, talking to people, income producing, is what we should be doing. And it's super easy to get stuck in the 80%. I'm a to-do list person. I love that. I will make a giant to-do list and I do the easiest things first. So to me, it's more of a distraction. So when I'm creating something like this, I will make that list and then I will say, okay, what here is the most important? Circle that and then I know those are my 20% activities. Don't do
Love
the
it.
easy things first.
Totally. Love it. Cool. Okay, so let's go through and fill this out. So the very top, you've got the one thing. This is going to be your goal. So the top box, and you can mark it up. We can get you more copies of this. There's many different formats that look slightly different. So feel free to scribble on it, but the top one is going to be your goal. So what is your goal? What is it that I always think about, hey, 12 months down the road, we're 12 months down the road. We look back, what's going to make us say, hey, that was really worthwhile. It was a great year in real estate. What do we have to do what do we have to achieve for us to say, hey, that was a win? Any ideas? Any ideas what that means for you? Do you know what your goal is?
I was going to say more transaction.
How many?
I don't know, like from now until the end of the year.
Well, I mean, we were talking 12 months, but you could also do just till the end of the year. Totally. 9 months.
Maybe like 10.
10 transactions. I love it.
That'd be awesome. And I was going to say, now that a lot of us had goals in the beginning of the year. So I think it's good to be looking at this, like what you said would make a difference and where are we at, being that it's the end of the first quarter.
Totally.
So if it was 10 deals for this entire year, are we on pace to hit those? And by looking at this, that helps us reorganize. So I personally have a GPS looking at it. I'm like, oh, I've done this, but I haven't done that. And now is the time to kind of readjust based on that big goal.
Love it.
And if we don't have a big goal, we need to have one.
Totally. Yep. Got to have a big goal that you're bought into, that you're 100% committed to chase after. So that's really what your first one is going to be. That could be a production amount. It could be an income amount. If it's not real estate, it could be something else. But let's be honest, Coach Terry and I are best equipped to help you with your real estate goals. We'll cheer you on all your goals, but we're talking real estate today. So, okay, everyone have a goal put in there. What are we going to achieve over the next 12 months or till the end of the year that's going to make it worthwhile? You're going to be glad that you were here. Who's willing to share? keep talking to people, find out how you can work together. Don't be afraid to ask for their help by sending you referrals. Love it. Yep, love it. Yeah, you guys know, I mean, at the risk of talking about my least favorite subject, SMART goals. We've talked about it. I think it's so funny. I think it's just because I've heard it a million times, but SMART goals are important. So SMART goals are, what do you guys know what the S is for SMART? Specific. So it's got to be specific. It's got to be something that's exact. We know whether we hit it or we didn't. M, measurable. Yep. How are we going to know that we did it? A, yeah, attainable or achievable. I've heard both, but same thing. Yeah. So can it be done? R is realistic, which, that's kind of lame. I don't like realistic as much, but it's got to be maybe within the realm of possibilities, right? Yeah, same. Exactly. And then T is time bound. So it's got to have a certain time limit on it. So make sure that your goal, it has all those main pieces, and then then we'll know we've got a good goal that we're chasing, because that's the first part. Now, then we're going to break it into 3 priorities. So your 3 priorities, these are the 3 things that must happen to make sure that you actually achieve your goal. So what could those things be? Terry, do you mind sharing what your priorities are, or does it?
Yeah, I have it pulled up right here.
Okay, so we're going to have 3 priorities and then 5 strategies for each priority. So we're going to have 1 priority. That's these 3 things have to happen to be able to hit your goal. And then we're going to break it down into 5 strategies. But let's start with the priorities.
Okay, so I will pull mine up. So this is a real life example. Jake's going to give me permission. Just to kind of give you guys some ideas too of what this looks like. If you haven't done one, this will be helpful. Okay. And I did have mine up because I'm going through it as he's talking. So here is an example. Mine looks a little bit different than the one in front of you, and yet the boxes are basically the same. So this is my 2024 business plan. So my 3 priorities are SOI, social media, and surprise and delight. And the numbers I have next to it are the amount of transactions I'm hoping to get out of those 3 priorities. So that's why you see that there. And so you can see here minus 12 million in production. And so I do track, I like to track things. So I just pulled this up. A lot of you guys maybe have seen this, maybe you haven't, but it's just kind of a easy tracking. So I can show you guys exactly where I'm at. You can come down here on closed transactions and you can see that I am, well, I can't see it so you can see that it's at 2.530 million so far for the quarter. And if you're to break down the 12 million, that would be what, 3 million per quarter?
Yep.
No, 4 million, right?
3.
4 times, it's 3. Okay. I'm really good at math, guys. Really, really good.
We're good at 3.
Yeah, we're good at 3s. So you can see I'm pretty close to being on track for that. So I was excited for this class because it forces me to look into my 1-page business plan and be able to see where do I need to make adjustments. So, and where has this business come from? Am I on track to hit 10 with my SOI? Am I on track to get 5 out of my social media? But those are my priorities. Did you want me to go deeper or just the priorities?
Love it. Yeah, maybe if you just want to explain yours, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, if you guys have any questions, and so I do have this, I look at it all the time. And at the end of every quarter, I want to just check on it because right now I'm at 2.5 million. I should be at 3. So I'm behind. So now I have to pivot and make adjustments. So looking at this strategy, so really what you're doing is you're saying, okay, so if my priority was my SOI, what are 5 strategies that I'm going to do or focus on in that SOI? So like Nick was saying earlier, it's super easy to be like, oh, that shiny object, and you completely just don't do what you committed to doing. This puts you right back on track. So mine is a fully operating 36 touch with 100% neighborhood smart plans going. I would encourage that to be on everyone's pillar. So That's a good one. That's database driven SOI. And so when I started this year, my goal was to get my database to 500 and my gap was at 184. So that is going to be a number I'm going to be checking today to see where I'm at. Because that gap of 184, really, I would break this down and say I need this 184 divided by each quarter to break that down. So I'm going to be checking up on that number. You can also see mine's very specific. So as you are building these, you can see I've even put questions in here. So how many like quarterly events is something that I really like to participate in and push those. I want to do some micro events, but it's not, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to do events. So how many events? How many people am I going to have at the events? What are the events? So you can see there's more room to get more specific here. Quarterly market videos to my SOI, we're going to email those, and then CMAs to your whole database. So how many per week or per day does that need to be? So these are all numbers. It has to be measurable. So going back to the SMART plan, it needs to be measurable. If I just wrote on here 36 touch plan, it's not really measurable. So that's kind of why mine, it looks so specific there. But do you want me to go through all of them? Any questions, you guys? So my social media, if we just go through that. So monthly market video update. I have not done that. So you guys can hold me accountable to it. 2 reels per week, daily posts with 5 different topics, and the 5x5x5 daily. So I can tell you, going back on the first quarter, doing pretty good on the topics, doing pretty good on my 5x5 daily. And I would also suggest, where's your accountability in this? Like, are you tracking it somewhere? Or do you have it somewhere in your calendar that you're going to spend time doing, like the social media work or something? So those would be other questions I would put on here. And then you can see, so surprise and delight, that's just something I love. I'm a gift giver. Gifting is probably my love language. So I plan to, out of surprise and delight, get 5 deals. So I'm looking at getting gifts at each step along the process. Huge shout out to Nick's mom. So she really helps do that, creating those gift baskets. I know we talked this morning about referral gifts, crumble cookie, it can be chips and salsa, anything like that, but gift baskets to their work, congratulation cards, and focusing on 5 handwritten notes per week. So that's 1 a day. Pretty easy to do. Promise script, we've talked a lot about that. So making sure that I'm asking, so that's out of my surprise and delight. I have to surprise and delight them in order to even offer the promise and ask for the referral. So that's part of that. Good news campaign. So the videos, how many, when will these happen? Quarterly pop buys, what am I popping by and how much? So you can see that this was the first quarter. There's definitely things missing from this, and there's things that I've taken, I've got progress on, things that need to be tweaked, things that need to be changed, things that are working, things that are not working. So that's why we review them every single quarter. So that's mine.
Love it.
Questions, comments? Jake has his all filled out in the last 10 minutes. You should share
Heck
yours.
yeah.
Oh. Anybody else
Sure.
want to share some things that they've just jotted down on their own?
For one of my pillars for the 3 priorities, I only have 4 strategies and I cannot come up with a 5th.
I was going to comment on that. I'd love to know Nick's thoughts on this. I don't believe you have to have 5 strategies in every one. Personally, I think it's good, and some of them maybe you can't get to another strategy, but I also think there's power in us masterminding it. Because if there's something somebody else is doing in like a marketing pillar, we can rip off and duplicate.
Yeah.
Question is, if you're not part of a team and you're just a solo agent, how do you hold yourself accountable? It's kind of like going on the diet plan and the workout, and you're like, I'm kind of lazy. It's snowing outside. How do I maintain, and who can I partner up with that's going to ask me at the end of the week if I even did this stuff? So do you guys have something in plan to, reach out to somebody or have somebody that kind of help keep you accountable?
Yeah, such a good question. Accountability is huge. Being accountable is important, because what's the opposite of being accountable? not caring. I don't know. Nothing at all. So, yeah, so I think it is really important. So, yeah, having an accountability partner, even tracking. I mean, tracking is probably the number one thing you could do because if you want to make sure that you're following a diet plan or whatever or exercise or yeah, it's important that you write it down because the numbers don't lie. So having that, I mean, one thing that we just went through it, my little team, my admin, she goes and pulls up our database numbers and she pulls them. It shows like what percentage of them we have phone numbers for, addresses for, when the last time was that they were touched. I mean, she pulls all those every month. And today was that day. So I go into the meeting and she's just like, here's how you performed last month. It's like, whoa. Okay, but it tells us how many people are in our database, how many have been touched in the last 90 days, you know, whose contact info we have and don't. Hey, Cami. So anyways, I think just having a plan, mostly tracking it, and then how would you do it if you had a team? If you had a team, how would you hold each other accountable? You probably have a meeting, right? So if you're just a one-man team, then you got to have a meeting every week where you sit down and you go through your numbers and you go through the plan, see if you need to make any tweaks.
I just look for those that maybe are new or who are some of the other things. We all have off days, so who can help regenerate, remotivate, keep us accountable without being critical?
Totally.
I think you just need to find that person in your life. If you're literally just solo, like I know your wife very well, she'd hold you accountable.
Oh, God.
I always think it's funny when I hear people get into real estate, if they have little kids, I'm like, tell them you'll go to Disneyland if mommy sells 20 houses. That child will hold you accountable. So I think you can just find people in your world, and then even business partners. Like we're all here to help each other, you know. So we typically will be more accountable to somebody else than ourselves. So get a coach.
Yes. Totally. Yep. So the 135, it really is a good way to break it down. It's something you should be looking at every single day. And yeah, Jay and Wendy, I went to a class that they taught, and one of the cool things that I thought is that Jay has his top 3 values at the top of his 135. So I can't remember what his exact values were. I have them written down somewhere, but it was like impact, income,
So it's split
freedom, something
equally.
like that. And but put your top 3 values
And
top of your GPS. It'll help kind of guide you. So that way, as you're
Keller,
picking those
you
things,
split
okay,
each with
they also
reimbursement
fall in
fee.
alignment with my main values.
Any other? Okay.
So I thought that was really cool. And they did specifically say that if you don't have 5 items, that's okay. Because a lot of times, if you're way bought into those 3, it's going to be better to just do those 3 than make up 2 that you're not even going to do. So just put the ones that you're 100% committed to. The GPS to me has to be things that you're 100% committed to. You can't be like, oh, if I get around to it, I might do it, or if it's convenient. It's got to be like these things are happening, period, end of story. And then you can just go, and you'll miss from time to time for sure. But at least your vision, you kind of casted your vision, and now you know what you're comparing against.
I love that. And that's a good reminder. I do have a personal coach as well. And she always says, is this in line with your values? So like freedom is a huge value to me. And she's like, okay, where does freedom fit into this? So I love the idea of adding values to that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add that to mine. Thank you.
Awesome.
Marcel, were you talking? I wasn't sure if you were trying to add to the conversation or accidentally off mute.
I did the faux pas accidentally off mute. Sorry.
Okay, we'll forgive you.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, the 135 super important. If you don't already have it, let's get it in place. Like by the end of the day, send it over to us. We'd love to see what's on it, help you tweak anything that's on there. Of course, those 5 action items, those strategies for each item, those need to go into your calendar. If they don't go into your calendar, they're very unlikely to happen. So in bold, we say it's not about selling real estate. It's about following a schedule. So, and that's so true. So we all have the same amount of time. It's just how you want to use it to grow your business. So make sure you have it, send it to us, add the things to your calendar, and then we'll see you in 90 days. And we're going to check in on how everything went, make any tweaks that you need to make. But it should really help you to hit your goals, to stay accountable, and to avoid those distractions. Cool. Any comments, questions? Yeah, do you want to share your goals? Who has a great goal or has some good priorities that are on the top of their mind? Anyone on Zoom? And if someone asks you about your GPS, what are you going to say? Are you going to say, I've never heard of that? Or are you, or are you going to whip it out and say, here, let me show you what's on it? It's true. It's true. Yeah, if you have your GPS handy, it's a good thing. Yeah, no matter what happens, it's good to be able to throw that puppy down and say, no, I've got a plan.
For me, I've been building this for a long time, and even today, like I keep adding more things to make it smart. Like I had written video the process. Now I'm saying I need 4 videos a month. And
Nice.
so it's like that was something that was just too vague for um like you had a percentage to your 36 touch emails. I just had 36 touch emails. I'm like, I need 100%. That's the goal. But yeah, giving it numerical value that you can achieve rather than a blanket statement.
Cool. Love it.
And that's why I like going through this, not like once a year, but maybe quarterly, because it's ever evolving and maybe something just doesn't align anymore. And so you need to remove it and replace it.
Yep.
Now I just need to put it in my calendar.
Yes, throw it in your calendar. Okay, any comments, questions? Did everyone get it done? Everyone get at least a few ideas? We'll help you. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for being here. We got another awesome week. Of course, we got our Ignite After Darks this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We've got a double duty on Thursday, as we do, because we have our own Ignite After Dark. So, and that's going to be on writing, receiving, and negotiating offers. So that'll be a good one. So a lot of good stuff. We're having pizza party on Wednesday. Yeah. What kind of pizza do you want? We were talking about that earlier. So pizza party is our power prospecting on Wednesday. So that's really from 9 to noon. We're going to be making calls. We're going to be digging up leads together, having our accountability meeting, all the good stuff. That's going to be at the Salt Lake office, Brickyard, 13th East, 33rd South, 9 to 12. Okay, anything else? Okay, let's get it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.